You're greeted by people that understand photography, who have a passion for photography themselves. And I was keen to have a group of people that when somebody walks in, the conversation is around photography. It really doesn't matter what age you are, what gender you are, what's your background. Whatever is important to you as a photographer, as a content creator, it's important to us.
Welcome, Theo. Welcome in the Care Principles podcast, a podcast that is all about brands and people in transition. Now, Theo, we have met back in 2023. We met in the Netherlands on a Fujifilm international event, and then I gave a keynote. And straight as I walked out of the stage, you were waiting for me. You were very excited, and you wanted me to give the same keynote about the Care Principles for your UK team. Can you tell me and the people who are listening and who are watching this, why were you so excited about the Care Principles?
Hi, Isabel. First of all, great to see you.
Yes,
It's been a
sorry, I
while.
jumped straight in.
That's fine. That's fine. But it's great to see you again. As it's been a number of years since we last spoke. But I follow you avidly. And look, going directly into your question, right? So it was all about your message, right? So the Care Principles just resonated with me in terms of how you came across, what your message was, and I instinctively knew that it's a good, strong message that my team would respond with, because I was in a state of transition. The business was in a bit of a transition, really trying to find its feet post COVID, and UK in particular was going through a number of changes, from I'd say all the way back from 2018 into COVID and then coming out of COVID through to 2023. It was important for me to find a way of galvanizing the existing team, working through challenges around restructuring the team, and then now bringing two teams together, which we've sat side by side for many, many years, but didn't really work together in a really odd way. So I can go into more of that. But fundamentally, I feel that your message was really important for me to find a way of having a nice way, an outsider looking in to our business, and giving some inspiration to a balanced team. I had people there for 10, 20, 30 years, people there for a few months, right? So trying to blend together of old and new, not from my age, but just in talking about people that have been in the business. It was actually a good opportunity for me to connect with you and talk more about yourself, and then talk more about what was going on actually within our business in the UK, and how you can come in and influence that.
Thank you. And it was a lovely experience. I mean, it was so much fun coming to London, meeting you, meeting your team, seeing the House of Photography, something we will talk about in a moment as well. It was really, really nice. But before we continue to talk about the business and everything you do on a daily basis, you're about to leave on holiday at the end of this week. How are you feeling today? How are you mentally? How are you physically? Because it's summer, it's warm. You already had a lot of work done this year.
Yeah, look, the emotions are all over the place, right? So I'm excited to go on holiday. I'm apprehensive, thinking I've still got so much to do, but that's only natural. But I made a conscious decision a number of months ago to disconnect when it's time to disconnect, right? So no laptops going on holiday with me. My work phone will go on holiday with me, but I will only check it as and when. It will definitely be off the weekends when I'm there. So it's so important, and I've learned it's so important to have a much better balance between your work life and your home life. Because when I'm working and I'm traveling, it's a pressure on my home life, right? And it's only fair that they have 100% of my attention when I'm away as well. So I'm excited for that. and excited to go away, see family, see friends, soak up the summer sun in Cyprus, and go back home. Um, yeah, but and put what's currently going on at work a little bit in the back seat.
Hmm. Hmm. Is it difficult for you to switch off?
It used to be. I've got better at that. Um, I've got better at that because I've made some little adjustments, which now means it's easier to make a bigger adjustment. Right. So when I say that is my work phone, as soon as I've done for my week, it will literally switch off, not silent, no nothing. It will switch off, go into my bag, and whatever happens over a weekend, I'll wait until Monday. That's one thing I've learned about, I would say, over the last year or so, slowing down. There will always be time to get something done, um, and it's important to have a better work life balance. And I think that kind of way of thinking, and I try to instill that within my team as well. They feel more. uh, They feel like that they can find time within their week to do what they need to do, and they don't feel that there's that pressure. I've got to do it. Like I'm there 24/7. They don't need to work 24/7. Not at all. Do your best, right? Absolutely work hard when it's time for you to work hard. Um, and make time for your family, make time for your friends. You know what I mean? And that's, I think that's important. So if you were talking, we were having this conversation a few years ago when we first met, it'd be totally different, absolutely totally different. But yeah, I've seen some changes in my behavior, but not to the detriment at all. Yeah. So
Mm. Was there something that happened that made you change, or is it something that you gradually became aware of, or maybe the culture around you within the company, or just from other people around you that you saw? Yes, I need to find more balance.
I think, unfortunately, over the last 18 months, I went to too many funerals that I could. And I'm not talking anything sudden, but it was uh, uh, people's grandparents or parents, and these were friends or family, stuff like that. And also a a close friend of mine um, went through some real serious illnesses as well. So, which I don't really want to go into, but it was those kind of moments you think yourself, you know what? Actually, we're only here once, right? So you've got to live your life to the fullest, and don't get too bogged down with um, uh, your priorities. Based fundamentally, change your priorities, right? So,
Hmm.
and that's what I went through, and realizing that actually I want to see my kids grow and develop. I want to be around for them, and I want to just find the better balance to do my absolute best at work and work hard as I always do, but realizing I have to make time. I mean, so it's not about there isn't time. There is time. There's time for everything, right? So
Hmm.
it's making sure you make it.
Hmm. Yeah, totally, totally. You've And I always say you can't take care of others if you don't take care of yourself first. And finding time is not only for your family, it's also for yourself, because the balance starts really if you feel in balance, and then you can be there for your friends and for your family. And if you're working all the time, you just don't have the headspace anymore to do anything really with love and care and attention. So great that you found that, because I do believe that when we met back in 2023, you were a bit of a workaholic.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Um, and it just consumed my whole week. It wasn't 5 days a week, it was 7 days a week. The second the phone was always on, you can't help to but go to it, have another check, what's going on. I don't need to do that. I mean,
Mm.
so you can make time during the week. So I'd rather start work an hour earlier on a Monday and have my whole weekend off. You know what I mean? And not stress and no worry. Yeah, things
Mm.
will happen, good or bad, and you'll find time to wait to deal with it.
Hmm. Hmm. Definitely, definitely. And the work is never done, really, is it? There's always
No.
something to be done. So yeah. It's a good decision on you. And you've been working for almost 27 years, if LinkedIn is right, for Fujifilm. That's like a lifetime.
It's a lifetime. Yeah.
So today you're the general manager of imaging solutions of Fujifilm in the United Kingdom. So you've gone through a lot of different jobs, a lot of different responsibilities, and of course, it's very difficult to make a summary of the best achievements in 27 years. But what are, if you think back, what are top of mind lessons that you've learned over this period of time?
Wow. Oh God, where do I start? So yes, I'm general manager for UK. I've also got another hat. So last year I was also promoted to commercial director for Europe for our direct business. So after the success of House Photography, we're now expanding that. So I have two hats. Which Fuji's great at doing that, right? So you can do this and you can do that. But it's brilliant. It's really, really good. So over my lifespan at Fuji, because Fuji fundamentally is my one and only job. Left university after a few months, and then I joined Fuji. So, but one thing that's always I've noticed about Fujifilm is if you're conscientious, if you show tenacity, you show genuine aspiration, and you've got good ideas, then over the years people will believe in you, and they'll give you that opportunity to put them into practice, right? So one of my early times when I was just joined the sales team and just started selling digital cameras, this world of the internet that people didn't really know about in the early 2000s started selling on the internet. So, and apparently that was going to be a big thing. So I went to my boss and said, look, I really want to target web only resellers. And he looked at me, he goes, seriously? He goes, not shops. I said, no, web only. Let's see how that goes. So he goes, fine, do it. You know what I mean? I trust you. Go do it and get some orders in and let's start some business. In the space of 2 years, our third biggest customer was an internet only player who wasn't Amazon. So stuff like that, I was really allowed to get my teeth into. And over the years, I've done various roles, but I was always keen to manage and lead. I felt there was a great connection with people, and that was a big part of my passion. And I'm passionate about photography immensely. It's my whole life, not just because I work at Fujifilm. It's my background. I studied photography, and I've always been into photography. So for me, I've always worked in a team job. So I was always keen to evolve my knowledge when it comes to products and how we apply that into the market as well. So I said to my boss quite early on, when we were getting to know each other, I said, look, I want to do what you do at one point. So put me in different roles so I can learn different things: product management, customer services, business development, sales, etc., etc. So one day when I'm hopefully in that position, at least I can sit down with each member of my team, say, I've been there where you are now, and this is the help I can give you, right? Rather than just being a manager that's done nothing to get to that point. I always wanted to be in a position where I can evolve. So, and my biggest achievement, I think, is opening the House Photography. So that was a huge taking the first house photography in the world. It was a project that I was challenged to come up with a concept, how to engage directly with consumers. And I came up with the concept of the house photography. And now we're looking at 11 locations around the world, which is incredible.
Wow, 11 locations already.
Yeah.
So how many do you have in Europe?
3. Yeah, 3 in Europe.
So there's London, there's Barcelona, and Porto, right?
Porto, correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm continually studying with my colleagues around Europe about where we can expand further, because they're all doing very, very well. It's just unbelievable. If you said to me back in 2018 when I first came out with the concept, in the next less than 10 years there'll be 11 stores and growing around the world, I would never have believed you. Especially after going through COVID as well, and what happened during that time as well. But I think, and this thing about Fujifilm, right? So if they see an opportunity, they're not afraid to give things a go. They analyze things. Data is important. Analyzing the market, understanding the differences around the world as well, and all that. But they're not afraid to invest in what they feel has got longevity, and also a way of giving back to the industry. And that's the thing. You've been to the hop. It's more than just a store, right? It's an opportunity to give to the industry with galleries and events and engagement and things like that. And I think that's massively commendable to Fujifilm and allow me to expand this project.
Just to get back to what is the House of Photography, because indeed I had the pleasure of visiting it with you in 2023 in London. But for those people who haven't been to Porto or Barcelona or London, can you explain in a nutshell what it is? Because it's not just a shop.
Absolutely. So the House of Photography concept is a place where anyone and everyone from all walks of life can come and feel welcome and to see the magic of the best of picture taking and picture making, right? You're greeted by people that understand photography, who have a passion for photography themselves. And I was keen to have a group of people that when somebody walks in, the conversation is around photography. It really doesn't matter what age you are, what gender you are, what's your background. Whatever is important to you as a photographer, as a content creator, it's important to us, right? Because for us, it's about giving the brand a wider expansion, right? With the nice possible way, having film in the brand for many years. People always used to say that did that hold us back in the big age of digital, but actually people are embracing analog products more than ever now. And our demographic has evolved over the years. Yeah. So by being a film company, we very much resonated with very traditional photographers. But the rise of Instax since the early 2010s has been phenomenal, and that continues to grow. The expansion of our digital cameras as well, and really embracing the classic film simulations that we have. So taking that technology has seen our user base grow and grow. But having a physical location where you can bring that all together, show our amazing cameras, our amazing printing products, and then have some fantastic gallery spaces, amazing workshops. People can come learn, people can come meet each other, make new friends. The amount of societies and groups and communities that come together and utilize the house photography is fantastic, right? Mm-hmm. So this is why it's different than just your average camera shop. And I've been to many camera stores all around the world, and they're all very similar, right? They've got excellent people that understand the product. They've got a fantastic array of products from all the brands, but it's quite intimidating, right? So mm-hmm. you walk into a traditional camera shop with lots and lots of hardware, you're like, where do I start? Because if I go back, I used to work in a camera shop when I was 15, 16. And it was quite simple then, right? Because it was all just film cameras and you had some compact cameras, but there were a handful of brands. Nowadays, there are many more brands, many more different types of products. And the technology is very, very different. So it's complicated. So it can be intimidating. So we wanted to create a space that wasn't intimidating, and we focused on the photography, not necessarily the technology. And we've certainly seen some success over the years. And as I mean, we dared to give this a go, and it wasn't a pop up. This was an investment in a permanent location, and now we have a number all around the world, which is amazing to be a part of.
And are you just responsible for the European ones, or you're responsible for all 11 already?
No, so I'm responsible for the European ones, but I have input into the others. So if a country wants to embark in opening house photography, they contact me first. They say, this is our idea. I take them through our brand guidelines and what it means to have a house photography. So they're clear in terms of the responsibility that they have in terms of how to approach it, and how to recruit the staff, how to create the store, what elements each store needs to have. Um, and then we go through the business plan together, and making sure that they understand what it means to have a hop in their respective country. But the important thing is, and this is a great thing about Fuji, is allowing flexibility, the ability to be agile, territory by territory, because it's important that a store has its own flavor as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So all the stores look very similar, and yes, we've got brand guidelines to make sure that we have consistency, but it's also important to have a little bit of individuality as well. Yeah. So when you go to the store in London and Porto, Barcelona, you see a lot of similarities. The size is very different. Porto's a small store, 226 square meters. Barcelona is 550 square meters, and UK is 840 square meters. So they're all very different sizes. They all look very similar, but some of the architecture and design within the stores makes it quite individual to that city as well. Because again, we didn't want to recruit just regimented salespeople. We wanted to recruit creatives. So within each of the store, people are creative in their own right. And then I send it to each of the member staff. Look, we've created the house of photography, but it's important for you guys to make it into a home. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Make it into a home, give it your own kind of little flavor, beautiful images of your city, of your friends, of your family. Because pictures is what people really want to see.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, because I might not remember it correctly, that in the London house of photography, it had rooms upstairs, studios that you could rent for free as a starting photographer to start your portfolio or to take some pictures. Is it still like that?
It did. It isn't now. So,
Okay.
and so what happened was the idea before COVID hit. Absolutely, we had these little pockets of studios on the first floor, where people come borrow cameras for free and then have a play and really understand how to get into the mix. Now, post COVID, obviously, it took a bit of time to get people back into the store. What we did find though is that we didn't maximize our space potential for events and galleries, right? We had a working studio downstairs, so we're pushing that more. So they still have a studio space where people can utilize it, but now the event space is much bigger, much more open plan, which means we can do so much more in terms of, as I mentioned, giving back to the industry. That means, yeah. And
the community building around events and exhibitions and all of that.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going in September to Barcelona. I will definitely go and have a look at the House of Photography because I've been to Porto, but before it was open. So sure. I've only seen the London one. So very.
I'll be there in September. I'm going to be to Barcelona. Sorry, going to Porto on the 23rd of September, and then I'll be in Barcelona on the 25th of September.
I'll check my calendar. It's late September that I'm going, so I'll check my calendar. If I'm there, I will be there.
Let me know for sure.
Exactly. So since we've met, I've written a second book because my first book was written when we met. Since then, I've written a second book, which is still about the care principles. But people kept asking me, yeah, but how do you apply the care principles? So I turned it into a leadership playbook because you can play with it. It's 20 steps, but you don't need to follow the 20 steps like rigidly. It's really, pick the ones that you like or that you're not as good at or you want to start to experiment with. And I would like to go through it a little bit, but also talk about leadership with you, because you've been in leadership positions for quite a number of years now. How did you evolve as a leader? How can you see it from yourself? Can you tell from yourself how you evolved, or is it difficult for you to see how you changed?
I think it was difficult, but it's less difficult now as I've become more attuned to it, right? So I think one thing I love about the care principles is the first word of collaboration, right? So it's that one thing that really stood out for me initially when you're doing your presentation, because within the team, a diverse team of different types of departments, ultimately the whole essence of the team is working together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you see it for me in, like, when people talk to me about analogies, and you look at the World Cup, for example, and you look at recently with football, you can have lots of individual great players, but they know make a great team, right? And it's the same with business, right? And it's all well and good having individual flair, but if you can't work with the people side by side with you, then the team will fail, right? And you got to learn to win as a team and lose as a team, right? And that's really, really important as well. It's not about the particular individual, like, and then that's how you become stronger. But in terms of how I've learned to evolve, I think becoming a good leader is learning how to let go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't be Superman or Superwoman. You know what I mean? You just can't. You can't be like that, right? You can't just try and do everything, because it's not possible. And not only that, you'll burn out and you'll start to crack as well. Um, and I've seen that more, I'd say, myself over the last 18 months as the House Talkie project has evolved, and I've tried to still manage UK as well as being abroad and oversee other projects. It's like I'm getting spread far too thin, right? So learning how to let go and passing things on to my leadership team was hard at the beginning, because you're like, out of sight, out of mind. But the reality is you've got to trust the fact that over the last 10, 15 years is you've instilled your way into that team, right? So them working without you doesn't mean that you're not involved, because all what they're doing, they're putting plans in place based on what you've taught them, right? Um, and they know that they have my trust and my backing. And me not being there doesn't mean that I'm not leading them in the right way, right? And because the business continues to succeed and it's continued to grow since 2020, since 2021, really, since we came out of COVID, every single year we continue to see growth, right? So I don't have to physically be there on top of them, right, to make it happen, right? It's just instilling it in the right way. We connect a lot, but also we have yearly conferences, which and those conferences is always about trying to inspire the team, but more importantly, how to collaborate and work together. I think the biggest challenge that I found is over the years, making sure that my leadership is still relevant to the new generation as they come through. So one thing I always find is I've always got to learn how to evolve myself, to make sure that I'm always relevant to the diverse team that I have, diverse age group, diverse backgrounds, and to make sure I'm empathetic to everybody as well. That's very, very important.
Is it, how do you do that? Do you have like a coach, or do you read books? Do you listen to podcasts? Where do you get ideas on how to connect with, for instance, the Gen Z generation? Or
I spend more time with the team. So actually, I did think about all those things, right? But one thing I did learn over the years, especially in my younger years, nothing teaches you more than being dropped in the deep end, right? So little things. I noticed that the team a lot, the younger team, will go have lunch in the kitchen, right? So I started to join them and try to chat with them, get to know them, and really understand what's important to them, and also them to get to know me. Yeah, because there was a lot of people that have known me for many, many years. Because Fuji's, as you notice, it's got some people that have been there for many, many years, right? but we've got a new crop of staff that have joined us since 2021. So they don't know the legacy. They don't really know the history. So sometimes it's a bit difficult to get involved in old stories and old banter and stuff like that. So as some people I've grown up with know me very personally, others don't, right? So I want to get to know them, and I want people to get to know me. The important thing as well is obviously my door is literally always open. So people come into my office when they know the door's open, then come and talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really important. Is really getting to know the staff. I think an outside influence trying to teach me how to do it is not me. It's like I know what I'm like. I'm the kind of person that I need to almost get myself in the deep end, put myself in an uncomfortable position, and really understand what's important to the younger team I have.
Mm-hmm. How big is your team now?
I'm going to say I think it's just under 70 people now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has evolved over the years. So we back in 2018, the team was just under 120 people. Now we're just under 70. But the business needs have evolved, like any business evolves and changes. And the product mix changes, and the areas of growth have changed as well. So the team has adapted accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how the care principles, but just for the people who are listening or watching, how the methodology works in order to grow organizations is you start at the back, you start with the E of care, with empathy, by listening, by, like you're saying, just going into a kitchen, sit there and listen to the conversations. Because by really listening to others, you can build trust, which is the reliability, which is the R of care. And once you're trusted, you can get into agility, you can get into action, you can move things, you can get things up to speed, you can change things. Because today, every company, I don't know any company who is not in some kind of transition, because the world is changing so fast. So we need to adapt ourselves all the time. And so the A of care is agility. And then the R, the C, my apologies, the C stands for collaboration. So if you show empathy, you are considered to be reliable and trustworthy, then you can get your organization into agility and move and have the trust, so that it's okay for them to move ahead and be responsive to the change that you ask of them. And so they can collaborate better. So that's the model of care. And then it's been explained more in detail in the new book, in 20 steps. But if you look at those 4 principles, collaboration, agility, reliability, and empathy, how would you say that you apply them in your job, in with your team?
I think one thing that you talk about transition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen transition Fujifilm for a long time, but that's why we're still strong, right? And I think one thing that I will say about Fujifilm, they're not complacent, and they're not afraid of change, and this is why we are a very strong and healthy company. But that also goes down to the people as well, right? So understanding our people, putting trust in our people's abilities, allowing them to have a voice is super important. So not just in my imaging team, but two key things that we adopted, sorry, 3 in the last few years, is have aspiration interaction, right? So every few months we have a group within the business who talk about their aspirations as people and as members of the team in terms of what they do. And then we most recently we had an 8-week course, and then the team would individually have a 15-minute presentation to the leaders and say, "This is who I am. This is what I do. This is what my aspirations are, and this is what I want to achieve." Right. And so we're trying to give more and more people a proper platform and a proper voice. And the goals could be personal, could be professional, but we're here to help and listen to people. And I think what that does, that builds trust. So it's not just I'm sitting behind my desk, no one's noticing me when there's my next step up and things like that. So Fuji proactively has created ways to give people a voice, and I think that's super important. And it's down for us as a leadership team to follow that through. We're also instilled a European plan on mentoring as well. So we actually have what we call a mentor match program, where we've applied mentors and mentees from different departments, so different divisions. So
That's
somebody
nice.
imaging, so somebody from imaging could be mentoring somebody in our healthcare division, and vice versa, or somebody in graphics. The reason that's important is for them then start to realize that actually my career might not be just one way. I could start in imaging, I can go to graphics, I can go to healthcare, whatever. My skills are transferable, and that's been amazing to see. And actually, the UK was the first country in Europe to really test this. And
That's
now
nice.
they're trying to do this across Europe. And the last one really is the introduction of a program called Plus Story. And again, this is different to an appraisal or performance review. This is again linked back to the aspiration element to really understand from start every single year, what do they aspire to do. So we have, obviously, like any company, we have performance reviews, but we also have these aspirational kind of reviews. And this is a great way of learning about the team and learning about what their aspirations are and giving them a platform to allow to grow as well. Yeah.
And these aspirational reviews, it's for everybody working in the company. It's not for a certain level, or you need to have a certain seniority.
So we do particular leadership programs for what we call our rising stars, right? But we learn about our rising stars through the Plus Story, right? So when we have so my manager will come, each of my managers say, you know what, out of my team, I've done my Plus Story program for everyone. So and so and so and so are really standing out. Okay, cool. So every time we had this round of that little bit above, we give the opportunity for everyone else to shout. As you know, every organization is going to have people that are quite happy to count their day, and they come in to do a job and go home this one, which is fine. But obviously, our job is to weed out the people that really want to develop and grow, and give them the opportunity to talk about their aspirations. And the great thing is, when you listen to them, you start to think that I'm still learning, even as a leader. I'm learning about different way of doing things, and how the younger audience within our team now is seeing the world in different ways, and how they want to evolve and develop as well.
Sure. And the work-life balance, for instance, just to name one of them, is different for many young people. Not all. You cannot always talk for a complete generation, but they generally look different at work than our generation did. But that's nice. Three very nice initiatives. Do these initiatives come from headquarters from Japan?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And they come from headquarters as a guideline, and then obviously region by region they implement them. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you how is it to work for a Japanese company? But you've worked all your life for a Japanese company, so maybe you can't really compare. But if you would compare like the Japanese culture with the English culture, what are like the main differences for you? What strikes you each time you go there, for instance?
I do. I go to Japan a lot. I'm very fortunate, very, very fortunate that I go. It doesn't matter how many times I go, I still have to pinch myself. I don't see it as a given. The one thing I would say, and again, it's for me, it's become a way of life, just working with a Japanese company. So I can't really compare it to anything, right? They're very hospitable people. They're very hardworking people. They do care. They genuinely care. In my life within Fuji, when there's been challenges, always family first. Make sure that you're okay. I mean, and the work will be there when you get back, kind of thing. But they're caring people. They're challenging, but I find them fair with their challenges, right? So I think that's important as well. Um, my Japanese colleagues and my Japanese management team, I would say, very data driven, very logical. Um, but I think the difference with Fujifilm is they're not afraid to think outside the box and to also go for things in a different way and to stand out. Having
Mm-hmm.
USP is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about USP just as a product, but as a behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And when I speak to other people from other Japanese companies, or maybe I've connected with people that have left Fuji and said, and one thing they say is no place like Fuji, right? And that's more of a cultural thing than anything else. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
talk about a lot internally about the Fujifilm family because we're there to look out for each other, and I think that's really important. And I feel that that culture is very much a UK thing. I haven't spent enough time in other Fuji entities around the world. Obviously, I've visited many, but there's really nice Fujifilm family bond,
Mm.
which is brilliant. It really stands out.
Mm. In the beginning of our conversation, you said something about business successes, but also business failures. How is the Japanese culture or the Fujifilm culture with failure?
So the Fujifilm are not afraid to make tough decisions, right? And one thing that I've learned over the years is that every business pillar has to stand on its own 2 feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Fujifilm has many pockets of businesses. The fundamentals are our healthcare division, we have our graphics division, we have our imaging division as well. They're the three fundamentals. They are broken down into many more, but let's say they're the three fundamentals. Each of those key pillars must wipe its own face, right? So they must be um, invested and profitable in its own way. And it's not about, oh, they're doing well, let's move the money over here. No, because all you're doing is you're not breeding the right practice, right? So it just because one division may be making more money than the other, well, the other needs to learn how to do that, right? Needs to learn how to do it in its own 2 feet and react accordingly. And this is why actually as a business, we're very strong and very stable. Fuji's not complacent. They're very shrewd. They will make the right business decisions at the right time. They were not afraid to make tough decisions, but they're also not afraid to reinvest in a particular market and give to the industry as well. And you see it recently where we've adapted a new group purpose with giving your world more smiles. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Fuji's not afraid to give back, and it's really important. Whether it's photography or healthcare or printing, every bit of those aspects comes back down to what we all talk about as image quality, right? So the quality of the end result. Um, and when you see something um, tangible, it will definitely make you smile. And it's about Fujifilm always trying to make the world a better place in every aspect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, totally by accident, in my book, in the second book, I've been using some of the Japanese, I would call them wisdoms or something. Like one of my favorites is ikigai. It's to find your real purpose, what really gives you a purpose, a sense of purpose in life, what really drives you. And I've described several throughout the chapters in my book. Do you have one of these Japanese wisdoms that is your favorite?
I think the Kaizen approach always evolving. That for me is the I know it's a bit cliched and it's within our what we talk about a lot, but I think that's the most important one.
Yeah, it's about continuous improvement, isn't it? Little changes every day instead of doing big steps. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, it's a nice one. It's a nice one. So you were saying the business is growing, which is great because you've been through quite some disruptions. Um, how do you look at AI? How will artificial intelligence disrupt photography?
It's already disrupted photography. It's been around for a long time. The AI is not a 2026 thing. It's been around for a long, long time, but we all seem to be talking about it more and more. Um, you asking my professional opinion or my personal opinion? I think that the thing about AI, and in the same way, and it's the same way when people ask me about say cameras with smartphones, right? So like when they say, "Okay, what'd you do?" I said, "I work for a photography company." Like, Fujifilm. "Oh, you still sell cameras? Didn't smartphones kill your business?" It's like, well, no, it didn't. Actually, accelerated our business, right? Um, it made everybody a photographer, and it captured the imagination, and that's why we still see the growth of digital cameras, and we see the growth in people engaging and taking content. Same thing with AI. AI won't. I strongly believe AI won't replace image making or whatever like that. I think it's gonna enhance it in different ways. And I think we just have to embrace new technology, whether it's AI now, or whatever future technology there is. I think it's important to embrace these new technologies, new way of doing things, and adapting our stance in the market to be the forefront, right? So Fujifilm invests millions and millions of dollars on a daily basis when it comes to R&D, and always tries to be ahead of the curve. And AI
Hmm.
is something that we're going to have to embrace for the future. Um, yeah, so we can't shy away from it.
Hmm. Hmm. So you're quite confident that with Kaizen methodology, you will be a part of this new wave of technology, and Fujifilm is here to stay.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm confident with that. That if we're blind to it, then yeah, that's where failure will happen. So there's certain things that you have to embrace, and AI is definitely one of them. And there's so many platforms out there, so many different platforms, so many new platforms potentially coming down the line as well. So we have to understand how our business can evolve with this new wave of technology.
Hmm. Hmm. What are you most excited about? Well, what's coming? The rest of 26 or 27?
Well, from a personal point of view, I'm most excited to see how we can continue to have us totally develop and grow for the future.
Hmm.
And I'm also continually always excited to see how new technology evolves in our hardware as well. Um, it's obviously as products develop and grow. Um, it's always cool to see what's coming next, and it's always cool to see what the other brands are doing as well. Because we work in such a competitive business, and trying to make something freshen up every single year or every other year is not easy. So to keep our customers excited, I'm excited for them to see what's going to come down the line.
Hmm. And what are the challenges that you're a little bit afraid of? Maybe with your team or just in the market?
The challenges, well, the market is it's not predictable at all. It does have challenges. Obviously, we know that the world's been volatile over the last God knows how many years. I wouldn't say it's 1 year, but it's been volatile for a while, and that impacts consumer behavior, and that impacts our lives, right? Um, so trying to maintain growth in a business where you got all these kind of challenges, because the knock-on effects in terms of raw materials, and then energy pricing going up, and all these kind of things have an impact to product manufacturing and things like that, where the business does its absolute best to retain efficiencies, so that doesn't pass on to the consumer, but it's not always easy. So trying to fight through that, I think is going to be the biggest challenge for any business. I wouldn't say just
Hmm.
retail. I think any business, any industry has got to go through those waves and challenges, because no one wants to see rising costs at all.
Totally, totally. Do you have a personal challenge that
Yes, I do.
you're
I said to my Japanese management team that, you might laugh at this, right? But before I retire, and I'm not planning on retiring, but my goal is to make sure that I go visit every single house photography around the world, which I really want to do. And not only that, I want to leave a little mark on all of them as well, right? So I don't know whether it's a fun little corner and I could put a little signature or something like that. But I said to my management laughed at the time, but he goes, "No, you deserve it, but you got to find a way of doing it." So I said, before I retire, I definitely want to go visit all of them, because as I said, we've got 11 right now. Um, I'm certain more will come, because what we're doing is great, and they're really engaging with the consumers. So all being well, we continue to expand them. So I've only visited I've only visited ones in Europe actually. I haven't had
Mm.
opportunities, but we've got Sydney, we've got Mexico, we've got Hong Kong, we Thailand, Korea. Uh, we have the three in Europe as well. Um, I'll talk about the other ones just yet, but yeah, there's more coming.
I always found, Theo, that you do business in a very passionate and very personal way, and you really want to have an impact. Why is that so important for you to have impact?
Because photography's been a massive. I've been in photography since I was 8 years old, right? So for me, I'm constantly waking up, working in the coolest place I can work, right? So, and I think if you can't work with passion and something that you strongly believe in, um, then then you've got something missing in your life, right? So I got my first camera when I was 8 years old. I was doing mine printing when I was 10. I joined the photography club at school. I've done everything. It was one thing I loved and I was always good at, because for me, the amazing thing about photography, there's no right or wrong, right? So when I pick up a picture and that I've taken, and whatever the content's in that picture, it must mean something. Like the background picture I have here, right? I took that at 5:30 in the morning last year in the sunrise near the hotel that we were staying in Cyprus. It's my home, right? So I know the story of that picture, right? Somebody else
Mhm.
just either just it could be a stock image of a sunrise photo. It could be anywhere in the Mediterranean or in the world, but that means something to me. And I think that's the
Mhm.
most amazing thing about photography. And if we and where things have become so commoditized, right? Because I can literally, when I used to shoot film, it was like the 27 or 36 photos. Now I stick a memory card in there. I could just shoot, take thousands of pictures. So the slowing down, taking less pictures, taking your time, really be mindful about how you're taking the picture, and us teaching people how to do that um, is really, really important. So we have a tagline within the house photography called "Life as You See It," and we just completed another photo competition in the UK that we encourage people to come and pick one of their own pictures, print it, hang it onto the wall. Um, and then now we also have run a competition around as well. But the cool thing is seeing again all people from all walks of life taking a picture that means something to them, and then hanging it onto a gallery in London, which is unbelievable, right? So yeah, I think it's something I've been given a platform within Fuji to try and give back to the industry, and I think that's why I'm quite passionate about it.
And it's really beautiful to see, because um, a lot of people think that being a general manager, it's about being in business and being tough and being rational. But working with passion is working with emotion, and I'm always happy to get to know people who do that in a very nice way. And I think you're definitely one of those managers who puts the emotion in it, because you're so much like photography. You're so deep into it, and that's beautiful to hear, and to hear you talk about it. That's really nice. That's really nice. Um, I don't want to go too long into take too much of your time. I have one important question from my previous guest. She's the co-CEO of a think tank, which is called Itinera. Her name is Ank de Wilde. And she asks you, what are you revolting against? And what are you building in its place? She wants to find out what you are building that is bigger than yourself, why, and how you know it will be lasting and future-proof.
So I'm trying to fight against short-termism, right?
Mm-hmm.
How can I put this? One thing I do find frustrating is having a knee-jerk reaction to something and not thinking always longer term, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what, sorry to go back to House Sophie, but this is why it was important for me to make this a permanent location from the outset, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to explain that it takes time to build your brand, it takes time to build your message and to expand what you want to talk about. So doing things for the short term, for me is a big frustration. Sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't. But I want to make sure that the team always think about what's the longer term impact of what I'm going to do. What changes do I make today that's going to really impact not tomorrow, but the next few years down the line? For the next wave of Fujifilm people that are going to come into this industry and hopefully make a difference in the change. And making sure that we're always authentic in our approach. Yeah. Making sure our marketing activity, how we talk to our customers is always authentic. And we're not there just to make that quick buck now. Yeah. Authenticity is key for our future and longevity as well.
Yes, very nice, very nice. If I fast forward a couple of years, let's say just before you're retired, let's not think too much about it. But what leadership skill do you think that might not be that much appreciated today will matter a lot by then? Do you have an idea about that?
Oh, that's a really hard question. Staying connected is, I think, is an important skill to make sure that all future leaders have, because as AI does start seep more into business practice, right? It might be very easy for staff to get disconnected with what they're doing because they just turn to an app or program to do what they need to do. So I think staying connected with what you should be doing and how to instill your own creativity into your role. Because if you rely on AI to do everything, you're going to lose your spark, right? You're going to lose that kind of je ne sais quoi that somebody brings to the table, right? And as you said, passion is key. So see people's creativity, passion for what they have. There's no point presenting something to me which in the last course is only just come out from a program. So staying connected, staying relevant, I think is important. That's the staff as well as the leaders as well. I'm trying to make sure my team are coming to the office more, and so they're staying connected with their team as well. Because this is really easy just to stay behind closed doors at home, whatever. But I think that for everyone's mental health as well, it's good to be back in the office a little bit and get to know who your teammates are.
Yeah, very true. Because there's never been so much loneliness. We are all the time connected through our phones, but still, a lot of people, millions of people, have never felt lonelier. So connection, I think you could be right that it will become more important in the future. And actually, that future has started because I think we need to be more connected with each other today. Great. Final question, Theo. Why are you convinced that care in business matters?
I think it's because the message is very simple, but it's very relevant, right? So you've been doing it for such a long time, and you've been doing this. You've been talking about the care principles in many different types of organizations, and it's all relevant, right? And relevancy is key. So the ability to collaborate, to be agile, to be reliable, and to have empathy. That those kind of four key pillars for me are endless, really. So there's no, oh, it's relevant now, it's not relevant in 10 years. I think they'll always be relevant, right? Because people, strong work ethic, a strong team ethic, being empathetic with your peers is really, really important. Collaborating with your team, the ability to be nimble, all these kind of things, and gaining trust. So I think it's very relevant, and this is why I think I liked it from the get go.
Yes, you were very enthusiastic from the start, and I was yes, I was very happy with that, because it means a lot to me that leaders like you from the huge companies like Fujifilm, that the message resonates with you, and that you went ahead and not just talked about it, but you really did invite me over to work with your team. So that was really really love you. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording, Theo, but please don't go away, because I need your question for my next guest, because my next recording, I always ask a question
Okay.
for the next guest. So, but for the people at home, thank you so much for watching. Theo, thank you for your time. Thank you for your lovely insights into leadership, into growth, into doing business, into working with passion. And for the people at home, please push that follow button, whether you watch it on YouTube or whether you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast. It means the world to me to grow my channels. Thank you so much, and take care.
Check out thecareprinciples.com and see how we can help you. Thank you, and take care.